Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tech Showdown. My name is Kevin, and today we have a very special video. This is the R9 290 Roundup. This is the big overview of all the cards. So first, let's talk about the competitors here today. We have the reference R9 290, that's from Sapphire. The Gigabyte Windforce R9 290. The Sapphire Tri-X R9 290, the Asus DirectCU2 R9 290, the XFX Double Dissipation R9 290, that's the stock clocked one, the Sapphire Vapor X R9 290, the MSI Twin Frozr R9 290, and the PowerColor PCS Plus R9 290. So what I'm going to focus on this one is give you guys an idea of the GPU speeds, memory speeds, how they bench, temperatures, and noise. And then I'll put them in order from what I ranked them in terms of best to worst. Now, I'm not going to get into the features of each of these R9 290s, and I'm not going to get into the coolers, because if we're doing that, this video would go on forever. So if you want to know more about the features each of these R9 290s come with and the coolers that they have on them, then I suggest you go and watch those specific videos. I'll probably put a R9 290 playlist down in the description below once this video's up, so you guys can just click that and I'll have all my R9 290 videos, all the showdowns and the unboxing and overviews. Now without further ado, let's get into it with the GPU speed. So bring up the first graph. Now these graphs may look a little bit crude, but I'm in a bit of a rush and I just thought I'd get this video out for you guys. So I'll run through the speeds for you. So the reference R9 290 is at the reference speed, which is 947 MHz. The Windforce 290, that's at 1040 MHz, factory overclock. Tri-X 290 is at 1000 MHz, that's 1 GHz flat. The DirectCU2 290, that was at stock, 947. Same with the XFX Double Dissipation, that's at stock. Vapor X R9 290, that's at 1030 MHz. The Twin Frozr 290 is at 1007 MHz, and the PCS Plus is at 1040 MHz, just like the Windforce. Now into the memory speed. So reference R9 290, that's at the reference memory speed, which is 5000. The Windforce 290 is the same. The Tri-X has a slight bump up at 5200 MHz. The DirectCU2's at reference, same with the XFX Double Dissipation's at reference. The Vapor X has the highest memory clock, that's coming out at 5600 MHz, so a big jump up there. The Twin Frozr's at reference, and the PCS Plus is the second highest at 5400 MHz. Now let's get into the benchmarks, and like usual we're going to start off with Furmark. So this testing was Furmark 4x FSAA 1080p, and it was for 15 minutes. It took the average frames there. So the reference 290 scored 29 frames per second, the Windforce 290 scored 37, Tri-X 290 35, DirectCU2 290 33, Double Dissipation 35, Vapor X 37, Twin Frozr 35, PCS Plus 37. So very close there between them. The big boys obviously pulling ahead, the Windforce, PCS Plus and Vapor X. Now into Unigine Valley. This is on the Extreme HD preset. The reference 290, 53.3 frames per second average. Windforce 60.7. Tri-X 58.8. DirectCU2 57.7. Double Dissipation 56.8. Vapor X 61.4. Twin Frozr 58.5. PCS Plus 61.5. It's quite interesting there, only 3 of them breaking the 60 frames per second barrier. If I get some of these wrong, it's just there's so many numbers, but forgive me, you guys could see the graphs anyways. I just thought I'd say it out for you guys. Now Heaven 4.0, this is DirectX 11, everything maxed out 1080p. The reference 290, 48.5 frames per second average. The Windforce, 53.7 frames per second average. The Tri-X 52.1, Direct C2 50.9, Double Dissipation 50.5, VaporX 54.3, Twin Frozer 52.7, and PCS Plus 54.4. And Heaven again, this time an OpenGL. Once again, everything maxed out. The reference 290, 35.2 frames per second average. The WindForce 290, 38.3. The Tri-X, 37.2. Direct C2, 36.3. Double Dissipation, 36 flat. VaporX, 38.7. Twin Frozer, 37.6. And PCS Plus, 39 flat. And now into Tomb Raider. This is everything maxed out without VSync. The reference 290, 72.3 frames per second average. The WindForce 290, 79.9. Tri-X 290, 78.1. Direct C2, 76.8. Double Dissipation, 73.3. VaporX, 79.7, almost at 80. Twin Frozer, 77.4. And the PCS Plus, 80.2. And lastly, Bioshock Infinite. This is on user setting 1. The reference 290, 108 frames per second average. The WindForce, 115.8. Tri-X, 113.9. Direct C2, 111.2. Double Dissipation, 110 flat. VaporX, 116.5. Twin Frozer, 114.2. PCS Plus. Where did I put the PCS Plus? Oh yes, 116.9. So, yeah, that was kind of to be expected. The big boys are really pulling away. And now you can see them all side by side. You might be wondering out there, if you haven't been as informed as many of my other viewers, why the reference 290 is scoring quite a bit lower than the others, even though it's clocked at similar speeds to, say, the Direct C2 and the XFX Double Dissipation. The reference cooler, it's actually in my system right now, it's not, it's not that good, basically, is the best way to put it. So the card ends up going up to its thermal limit, and then the GPU will thermal throttle, so it kind of like, it pulls itself back a bit to help bring the temperatures down, but obviously that reduces performance, and that's why that one falls away. These were all done on the same graphics drivers as well, so don't worry, that's covered. They were all done on 14.7, and that's why the reference is in it now. So I made sure I did every single one, because I know 14.9 is out right now, but these were all done on 14.7. Now that the benchmarks are out of the way, let's get into the temperatures. So, first one we're going to do is the highest temperatures each of these cards went to during the Furmark testing. So, reference 290 went up to the thermal limit, 94 degrees. WindForce went to 84. Tri-X went to 79 degrees. Direct C2 went up to the thermal limit as well, 94 degrees. Double Dissipation, 78 degrees. VaporX, 73 degrees. Twin Frozer, 86 degrees. And the PCS Plus, 69 degrees. Now I'll also give you the fan speeds, the highest fan speeds they went up to for the respective cards. Reference 290 went up to 50% fan speed. WindForce went to 70%. Tri-X went to 46%. Direct C2 went to 52%. Double Dissipation went to 80%. VaporX went to 42%. Twin Frozer went to 71%. And PCS Plus went to 76%. So even though the PCS Plus cooled the best, it was at quite a high fan speed in relation to some of the other R9 290s. Now, I also took the highest temperature in the Heaven 4.0 benchmark, the DirectX 11, everything maxed out. So the reference 290 went to 94 degrees again, the thermal limit. The WindForce went to 78 degrees. The Tri-X went to 74 degrees. The Direct C2 went to 81 degrees. Double Dissipation went to 70 degrees. The VaporX was at 70 degrees. The Twin Frozer was at 78 degrees, and the PCS Plus was at 65 degrees. So why is there a difference from the Heaven benchmark to Furmark. Furmark's more of a torture test, and Heaven is probably more likely what you're going to see with gaming, so that's why it drops down a little bit. So now that all the benchmarks and temperatures are out of the way, and the fan speeds, so you have an idea of how hard the fans are going, let's get into the noise. So I'm not going to show you all the cards at idle, just take it from me. Pretty much all of them are silent or very close to silent when they're at idle. Even the Reference, which has the worst cooler out of the bunch, for sure. You know, we're sitting here right now and it's silent. So we're not going to do them at idle because there's not much point, but I'll show you them when they're all on load. So they were on load during the Unigine Valley benchmark. Remember, that was on the Extreme HD preset. So I'll run through them one by one, and you can hear them back to back during that benchmark to give you an idea of the noise between the different cards. Now that we've covered noise, and you can see the difference between them all, with the Reference R9290 by being the loudest by far, that is for sure. Here is the ultimate conclusion in ranking them in order. Now, although I didn't go over all the features and between these different cards, and I didn't go over the coolers themselves, that has shaped my opinion on how I drew up this conclusion. It's not just based off everything I've just showed you. So if you want to see some of the features between these different cards and the coolers, as I said earlier, go back and watch some of my previous showdowns or unboxing videos. So as many of you already know, the #1 best R9290, as recommended by me, and this time we're not talking about price at all. Price is not coming into it, the price differences between them. This is just which one is the best. Is the Vapor X. That is #1. The reason why over the PCS Plus, even though the performance was very close and the PCS Plus was cooler than it, even though it was at higher fan speed, is just because of the additional features with the Vapor X. It has the backplate and the lighting effects and the intelligent fan control and things like that. And just overall, it's just the better overall card. So the Vapor X is first. The PCS Plus, closely behind that. Then we take a bit of a step down. And the #3 is going to be the Tri-X. So why did I pick the Tri-X for that one? Because the cooling is absolutely excellent. And the performance still kept up with many of the other cards out there. Overall, I just find it a very well-built card and a very good card with everything it comes with. However, very closely behind the Tri-X in 4th place, I'd have to give it to the Windforce. It did perform exceptionally well, but it did get quite hot and it uses quite a bit of fan speed, especially in contrast to the Tri-X, although it does perform a bit better than the Tri-X. But overall, I just find the Tri-X is the better card. Behind that, in 5th place, is MSI's Twin Frozer R9290. I thought it was a pretty good card. It's, you know, it was a good job. Came with some decent stuff, but overall it was just, you know, okay. The XFX Double Dissipation was, again, alright. I can't really complain too much about it. I just thought the Twin Frozer and XFX were like pretty middle of the road cards. Not too bad, but nothing too good. The Asus DirectCU2 is 7th, and this one is almost tied for last, which is obviously the Reference R9290. The DirectCU2 cooler on these AMD cards just does not work. Asus took it directly off their 700 series NVIDIA cards and slapped it onto these 290 and 290X graphics cards, and it's just the GPUs, and it's just not working. The GPUs are different sizes, and it just causes all kinds of trouble, and the cooler just doesn't work effectively, and considering they would usually come in at a bit of a higher price, although we're not taking that into consideration now, which is why I haven't actually ranked it last. And of course last is the reference R9 290. It just can't stay as cool as the others. It falls back in performance because of the thermal throttling, and overall, you know, it's the loudest, and overall it's the most basic with obviously the least amount of features, and it's just the bare bones. Reference design, what, you know, of course it's going to come in last. Everything else would be better. Although, as I said, if we took price into consideration, then I'd rather have the reference R9 290 and get it for much cheaper than the DirectC 2 R9 290, and it's going to perform quite similar, you know, and you're going to get it for a bit cheaper. So if I was bringing in price, then I'd tie the DirectC 2 and the reference 290 for last place. Now this is going to end our R9 290 Showdown series that we've been doing, and all the 290s we covered. Here it is, all round out for you guys. I have really enjoyed this series, doing it with you guys and testing out these cards. It's been really fun. I don't think I will be doing it again with another series of cards. The main reason why it was good doing it with the 290s, the main reason I did it for them was that the 290 as the Hawaii GPU, it ran very hot, so there was a lot of pressure on these third-party manufacturers making these non-reference cards to make them cool the GPU efficiently, because as we saw, like, the reference design just doesn't cool it efficiently, and it thermal throttles. So that's why there was a lot of talk about which one would be really good and which non-reference cooler to get or card to get, and that's why I wanted to do this series. Why I picked the 290 over the 290X. To be brutally honest with you guys, I was buying all of these, and a 290 is a lot cheaper to buy than a 290X. So going through the series, I couldn't possibly afford to cover as many cards as I did if I was doing 290Xs over 290s. Now if you think there's another series you would like me to do in the future, or, you know, take into consideration, I have been thinking about the GTX 970 as a series to do. We've covered a few of them. Oh no, we covered one of them so far. The MSI Gaming 4G GTX 970. So I was thinking about that, but I mean, these new NVIDIA cards, they don't run hot at all. Like, the fans turn off on the MSI Gaming 4G, I'm sorry, 970 when it's under 50 degrees Celsius. So I don't know really if it's worth doing the 970 series, or if I'll ever do as a whole series again on cards. It might just be one-offs because it was quite difficult to do. But I thank you guys for sticking with me and watching all these R9 290 videos. I really hope you enjoyed them. I've had a lot of fun doing them. And of course, I'll see you guys next time on Tech Show.